So monopolistic competition is another type of market. I can draw the diagram, or maybe in the beginning, I will figure out, or I will tell you the individual points that define this market, this kind of market. So monopolistic competition. Maybe it's important to know that there is no or easy barriers to entry. That means it's not hard to enter this market. It's not far as it's not 100% easy like with perfect competition that anybody can enter from one day to another day, but it's very easy kind of compared to other markets. For example, it can be a market for a certain special type of food, not something very simple, but something a little special. That's not that hard to enter. It's not something technological that you need a big factory to produce it, so it's hard to enter it in the first place. But even in such cases, it might be that such market can be monopolistic competition, but it depends on the size and on the complicatedness of that product. But let's say there are no very easy barriers to entry. That's for the sake of our explanation. Then there's quite large amount of producers. Okay, so quite a large amount of producers. Um, of producers, but the producers are price givers. That's the difference from perfect competition. So they are price givers. That means the different producers can have different prices, although they do the similar things. For example, let's say they produce, I don't know, they sell some food, maybe dumplings, or yeah, maybe dumplings. And so this is not that hard to produce, so it's quite easy to entry. But at the same time, there's different types of dumplings. So you can have them doing dumplings, but one firm can have a different price than the other. And price givers means the firms really choose their price. So it's not like unified price for everybody that is determined by the market. That everybody does the pretty much same thing, so they all have to have the same price in order to stay in the market. In this case, they actually do very similar thing, but they can still give price because they can have something called product differentiation, which is the single most important thing about this market that makes it distinguished from the perfect competition. So product differentiation. That means the products of different firms can compete not on just on the basis of prices that they're selling the same, but I am a little cheaper, so all come to this option. But instead, there's price differentiation. Means let's say this dumpling has a different taste than this one. So although it has a higher price, people will also buy the a little bit more expensive from this different producer because there's product differentiation. The products are the same idea, but they are a little bit different. So people will have a reason or feel a reason. They will have a reason to actually buy even the maybe a little bit more expensive than the other option. And so let me draw the graph. The graph will be something like this. We have demand, we have a marginal revenue that's going down, and then we have marginal cost. And when marginal revenue hits marginal cost is our equilibrium, where it should be produced. Okay, but very often, as they have their price givers a little bit, it's more worthy for them to produce a little bit less, not far less, because there's more producers and they are also playing with the prices. They compete both on the base of price. So these monopolistic competition, it means the individual producers are competing based on price, but also on the quality of their products and other attributes that are not that enumerable. So there's more hidden reasons why one wins over the other in as far as profit, because they have different tactics in order to win the competition in the market. So they can stay at the equilibrium, might serve them well, but they often go like a little bit lower quantity and produce something a little more expensive. For example, if you produce pizzas, actually they're not very expensive to create, but you sell them for a lot higher price very often than it costs because it's something special and you can say it's special flavor or something about it. And that makes it differentiable and it already gives a reason why the price should be higher. But although the price could have been something far lower, you still make it higher and there's going to be less people buying it. So they will instead rather produce less of it and make it special because they have a reason why to say it's special. Okay, so let's say maybe it can also be for certain types of drinks So the drinks are not hard to produce, but they produce not that much of them because they know that if they produce less of them, people will find them special. Not that they necessarily aren't special, but it will feel even more special, and naturally they can do lesser quantity, and it's okay for them. So monopolistic competition works kind of this. This was a quick intro. Of course, just not to make this confusing, price and quantity on the horizontal. That's important to know. And this was the equilibrium. But of course, we can get left of the equilibrium, okay, and so on. And as long as their marginal revenue is higher than the marginal cost they will produce, but they can produce even a little less of it because you see they might get higher profit because the revenue is calculated like this. It's from the point these two lines and this area. So if we go a little bit left, you see this area might be a little bit bigger than the previous. We have the square here. This is a rectangle, but maybe this rectangle has higher profit. Yeah, so it depends, of course, on the graphics, on the function of the MR and MC. It depends on that very much because it depends on the steepness of the curves, what will work out. But just imagine and remember, with monopolistic competition, it's not that they're only competing all on a very narrow scope, but they can compete on the basis of price. They can, because they can have different prices, because they have product differentiation. So they're also competing on the basis of quality, on who does a better job at producing the thing, or who produces a little bit better in a subjective point of view.